My daddy told me that there were a lot more, but nobody would never find them. People come up and ask me, well, who is your daddy? And I always say, my daddy was Pee Wee Gaskins. He was a mass murderer. He was also my daddy, and I loved him. Most people only know the bad parts about Daddy. No one really knows he was a good father. He was loving, he was understanding, and he always wanted what was best for me. At the same time, my father was evil. He was evil. I mean, anybody that can do what he did was evil. This is myself when I was about 6 years old. My daddy wasn't really too much a part of my life when I was small because he was in and out of prison. I don't know why. I would ask Mom, where's my daddy? Why isn't he here? And my mama always said, your daddy's away and, you know, he'll come back one day. But she never told me that my dad was in prison. She never told me any negative about my dad. I was very happy at this time, very happy. I never dreamed I would have to go through what I did. I was born on April 17th, 1952, in a little town called Prospect, South Carolina. The very first thing I remember about my daddy, my dad came to the house, and, you know, I was excited to see him because I hadn't seen him in a long time. I remember him going in our house, telling Mama to get me and get in the car. I didn't know what was happening. So, you know, we got in the car, and then he locked the doors. But before we could leave, cops pulled in and surrounded him.
Donald Gaskins, stop right there.
They just come flying in there with their guns drawn and was telling Daddy to get out.
Please exit the vehicle with your hands up.
That's when I noticed that Daddy had a gun. He was holding the gun towards my mama and telling my mama not to move.
Donald, what's going on?
Honey, just stay here. Don't move.
I was terrified. I kept holding on to my mama, begging her, I want to get out, Mama, I want to get out.
Daddy, what's happening?
Just be quiet now. Everything's gonna be okay.
Kept saying, baby, don't scream, don't say nothing, just sit here. Mama's with you. It's going to be all right. The law enforcement kept talking to him, asking him to please let us go. And, you know, he kept saying, no, I'm not going to let him go. You tell me I can leave.
You gotta trust me. Your daddy ain't gonna let nothing happen to you.
Finally, after a couple of hours, he did let me out. He released my mama. And when Mama got out, they just covered the car and drug him out of the car. It was a horrible feeling, seeing him, you know, throw him on the ground and handcuff him. I was crying, I was begging Mama, please don't let him hurt him. And they put him in the back of the police car. I asked Mama what they're doing to Daddy, and she said, baby, he did something wrong. Now they got to punish him. Just like when you do something wrong, you have to be punished. He went to prison for a long, long time, and I didn't see him anymore until I was in the 3rd grade. But Mama never told me why he was running from them. Nobody ever told me why. There's a lot of memories behind this picture. This was the year that the children was picking on me and making fun of me because I didn't have a dad. But then my dad got to come home. I was so happy that my daddy was back. I could go to school and tell everybody, hey, I've got a daddy now. But, you know, they still picked on me and they still bullied me. I remember one specifically day that my dad and I was outside playing ball, and I was really upset because the kids had been really, really mean to me that day.
Honey, is there something bothering you?
No.
He kept saying, what's wrong? And I'd keep saying, nothing, Daddy. I didn't want to tell him because I didn't want him, you know, to feel bad or anything.
I know when something's bugging you, and I think this is the time.
It's the other kids at school.
He said, people's making fun of me at school. They're picking on me, making me cry. He said, wait just a minute, baby. He said, we'll fix that.
You wait right here, okay? Got just the thing.
So he went to the car, and I remember him coming back, and he had a loaded pistol.
You take this.
What's this for?
And he gives it to me. And he tells me to take it to school with me, and if they kept on picking on me, to pop a cap in them.
Next time those kids bug you, you show them this piece.
He showed me how to release the safety, and he said, just point it and shoot. He just told me to go hide it, and don't tell my mama.
You hide that under your pillow, and she won't find it there.
I wanted to do what my daddy told me to do, but yet I knew that it was wrong. It kept bothering me. I mean, I can't do this. I can't do this. I said, I got to tell my mama. She was furious, and she calls the cops, and they come and pick the pistol up. I really don't remember what they did with Daddy, but I didn't see him for a long time. He got out of prison when I was 15. I was married, and I was fixing to have my first child. I thought, well, maybe he's changed. He's going to stay out this time. But that's the very first time I've ever seen my daddy do anything to hurt me. I've always loved pets. I've always loved animals all my life. I did have some cats.
Tabby!
I never put two and two together that, you know, he was killing them. But every time he would come, my cat would disappear.
Tabby, where are ya?
We couldn't find him.
Have you seen Tabby anywhere?
Afraid not.
I was sad, but he said, they don't need to be in the house. Animals supposed to be in the yard.
That's so strange. She hadn't been around all day.
Why do you care?
Daddy didn't like animals, and especially cats. He could not stand cats.
Probably outside where it belongs.
But I didn't know why my cats would disappear till years later. Now, as I look over the years, it could have been that he just needed to kill that cat instead of going out and killing somebody else.
Oh my God, what happened?
People started coming to the house and just disappearing. They never was seen again. This picture was my daddy, myself, and my cousin Janice Faye. And that was my daddy's sister daughter. We were pretty much the same age, and, you know, we were best friends. We just hang around the house and talk girl talk. We told each other everything. When I had my baby, I mean, she came and stayed with me to help me out. My daddy and Janice Faye was always close. You know, I can't imagine him ever want to hurt her. One afternoon, my Aunt Inez and Uncle Lamar came to my house, and and they asked me, had I seen Janice? Was she at my house?
Hey, y'all, what a surprise. Daddy's not here right now, but if you want to come in.
Actually, Shirley, we're looking for Janice. We were hoping she was here with you.
And I told them no, that I hadn't seen Janice. She said, well, Janice had been missing for 3 days.
We haven't seen her or heard from her for the past few days. We were thinking maybe she ran away.
I don't think Janice would do that.
Her friend Patricia was missing with her. They were both missing. I was worried because, I hadn't heard anything.
You'll let us know as soon as you hear from either of them, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So I started asking people, had they seen Janice, and no one had seen Janice.
Hey, honey.
When my daddy came over that weekend, I asked my daddy, I said, Daddy, have you seen Janice?
Have you heard about Janice? No one's heard from her in a few days.
I've heard you.
But he showed no emotions. And he said, no. He said, I've been looking for her. He said, I don't know where she is.
Well, I've been talking to people around town. Nobody has seen her. Could be she just ran away.
But I knew Janice didn't run away from home. Janice wasn't that kind of girl. She would not have worried her mom and daddy like that.
I know something's not right. Janice wouldn't do something like that, Dad, not without telling me first.
And if Janice Day would have run away, she would have come to my house. That's how close we were.
Wherever she is, I'm sure she's doing fine.
Weeks turned into months. No word from Janice. Nobody knew where she was.
Now, let me go see my granddaughter.
Law enforcement said it had to be a runaway. They labeled it as a runaway. Years later, they found Janice Faye in a shallow grave down in Prospect, South Carolina, and they found Tricia Albrook in a septic tank in Sumter. Daddy had murdered them both. At this moment, just looking at my daddy and Janice Faye, it makes me angry. I try to block it out. I'm angry, sad, all in 1 minute. It was very hard to think my daddy had done it. It was evil. Nobody wants to believe that their parents is evil. We moved to a little place called Roper's Crossroads, and I had 2 more children. Daddy was living in Charleston this time. That's when all the people started disappearing. One afternoon, Daddy came to my house, and he brought this woman and baby, which was Doreen and her daughter Robin. They were friends of my daddy's.
Hey, Shirley. Can I ask you a favor?
I fixed them all something to eat, and he was telling me his house had just burnt down, and he said he had nowhere to stay at the time.
Well, Doreen and Robin are in a bit of a tough spot right now. They need a place to stay.
I didn't have enough room for everybody because my kids shared 1 bedroom, and there was my husband and I.
I don't know. I mean, the kids are already sharing 1 room. I don't know if we've got the space for 2 more people.
I told my daddy that I just did not have room for Doreen and the baby, that there was just not enough room.
Yeah. Okay.
He said, well, go ahead and give Robin a bath and put some clothes on her. I'll take her and Doreen to a friend's house, and they can stay there until, we can do better.
You go get the baby cleaned up. I'll talk to Doreen.
Okay.
I put her in the bathtub, and I dressed her in my daughter's little pink sunsuit. I remember telling her that I loved her and that I would see her soon. Doreen gave me a hug, and I told her I was sorry that I didn't have enough room, and she said she understood. Her and Daddy left.
Daddy.
Hey, sweetheart.
And he was gone for about 2.5 hours. And when he come back, I said, Daddy, I said, where did you take Doreen?
Did you find a place for Doreen and the baby?
Yep, we did.
He said, just to a friend's house. I said, well, who was it?
Which friend?
No one you know.
Oh.
I was raised as a little girl. When an adult tells you something, you accepted what they said. I believed him. I never seen Doreen and the baby again. This is Doreen and her baby Robin. Haven't seen these pictures in a very long time. She was such a beautiful baby. I am so angry with my daddy for doing such an awful thing to this baby. I just feel like, why did they have to go so young? I still feel guilty. I mean, right now, in my heart, I feel like that I'm the reason that they're not here anymore. Why didn't I let them stay with me? Late one night, my daddy came over.
Oh, hey, Shirley.
I went to give him a hug, and I seen that there was blood all over his hands.
Oh my God, what happened?
I mean, there was a lot of blood on his hands. I mean, his hands was covered in blood. And I said, are you hurt, Daddy? And he said, no. I said, well, what's that blood doing on your hands?
It's okay. I hit a deer.
He proceeded to say that the deer run out in front of him, and he hit the deer, and I had to drag it off the road.
That's an awful lot of blood.
Yeah. Guess it was dark. So dark I didn't see it.
And around where I stay, deer run out in front of you all the time, and I have hit a couple myself.
Well, do you want me to wash those for you?
No. I'll take care of it at home.
He said, I got to get back home. I got to work in the morning. I'm going to throw these clothes away.
Oh, well, let me walk you out.
Okay.
But I walked him out to the car, and I looked at the car, and there was not a scratch on the car. It's kind of hard to believe that you hit a big deer, that it's not going to mess up your vehicle. But, I never questioned Daddy. I just figured, that's what he said, so I guess that's what happened. I asked my daddy, why did he do this? And he would say that every so often he just had that urge to see blood. He had to see blood. My husband and my daddy, they got along real good. They were very good friends. One day, him and my husband was outside, and he told my husband, he said, let's go kill a deer.
What, right now?
Yeah, right now.
My husband said, are you sure you want to go kill a deer? And Daddy said, yeah, let's go kill a deer. He said, I just want to see some blood.
Got the guns?
People back in South Carolina, go hunting all the time. That's nothing unusual.
Come on. This'll be fun.
He was very excited when they were gutting that deer. He was just having a great time doing that. Years later, when I went to see him in prison, he would say that every so often he just had that urge to see blood. He couldn't be still till he seen blood. Walter Neely was my daddy's best friend, and Walter used to come down to my house with my daddy a lot. Well, it was one night, Daddy and Walter came up, and these two boys came up with them. Johnny Knight and Dennis Bellamy, they were half-brothers. I'd never seen them before. I didn't know it at the time, but he had a theft ring going on. They would steal the cars and bring them to my house and hide them. I came out, and I started talking to Daddy.
How's it going?
It's going fine.
And Daddy said that he was just buying cars to fix them up, to sell them, to make extra money.
You boys ready to wrap it up?
It was getting dark. And Daddy said, well, we got to go somewhere. We've got some things we got to do. And they left. Later on that night, maybe about 12:30, Daddy came back by the house.
Hey, Daddy, what are you doing here?
Hey, honey, I didn't mean to wake you.
I said, well, where's the boys? He said, they've already gone back. They drove one of the cars back to Charleston. I remember seeing blood on his hands. And I asked him, I said, Daddy, what'd you do?
What happened? Are you hurt?
No, I hit another deer.
He said, you know how plentiful deers are. He said, another one run out in front of me.
I didn't mean to wake you up. Look.
He said, I got to go. He was in a big hurry. He was rushing. He didn't want to take time to talk to me that night.
You go back to sleep, all right?
He just left.
I'll see you next weekend.
Okay. Good night, Daddy.
Johnny Knight and Dennis Bellamy. I never seen these boys again. Daddy never said anything about them. They found them in a shallow grave in Prospect. But at the time, I wasn't suspicious, because a lot of people came and, would leave and, I would never see them again. So, I really wasn't concerned or anything because I just figured, that they went back to Charleston. One day, my daddy asked me to go into the trailer to clean it. And I said, sure, Daddy. I didn't go in the trailer maybe 2 or 3 times the whole time that it was there. I go in there and I dust and I wipe stuff down. I opened the closet to put something in the closet, and that's when I found the shoes. And it was a great big old pair of brown and white Oxford shoes. It kind of puzzled me because my daddy had a very tiny foot like I do. I said, I know they can't be Daddy's. Daddy's foot's not that big. I knew they were not my dad's shoes. Later that night, I asked him about the shoes.
Daddy, I found these in your closet.
I said, Daddy, whose shoes are those?
They're not yours, are they?
Nope, they're not.
I was getting suspicious. Something was not right.
Well, where'd they come from?
And he told me that somebody gave him those shoes and they were too big. He was going to give them away. Just confusing someone would give him a pair of shoes 4 sizes too big for him.
What's wrong?
It's just something's been bothering me lately.
I really started thinking, it's not normal for people just to disappear off the face of the earth and never be heard from again.
Don't you find it strange how many people been going missing around here?
Missing? What do you mean missing?
I said, what is happening? I said, people are disappearing and, I never see them again. And he just said, they just don't want to come back around here anymore. They were friends or they moved out of state.
People move on.
Yeah, but it's just that.
Honey, I'm sure everything is fine.
And I said, are you sure, Daddy? And he said, yes. He said, I won't lie to you.
Ain't nothing going on. Let me have these. I'll take care of it.
My daddy had a very quick mind. He had an answer for everything you ever asked him, and he never thought anything about it. Later on, I learned that my daddy had murdered the boy that the shoes belonged to. They were Dennis Bellamy's shoes. I kept saying, no, it can't be her. It can't be her. Please tell me it's not her. People's disappearing, you know, and I can't explain it. Why? And it's happening so much. I started thinking, I guess, a little bit more and wondering. One day, my daddy came up, and I saw a lady, and her and Daddy was standing up in the yard talking. Walter Neely, my daddy's best friend, was there. I had never seen the woman before. I came out the house. Daddy's back was towards me. He said he was going to fix everything. He knew how to fix it.
I can handle it. Don't worry about nothing.
Are you sure? I can't afford any mistakes.
And as I walked up, they hushed talking. It was like in the middle of a sentence, they just stopped talking.
Hi there.
Shirley?
Hey, darling.
I knew he did not want me to hear what they were talking about.
This is a friend of Walter's.
It's nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you, too.
I said, what was y'all talking about? I said, y'all look so serious.
We're helping her with a little problem.
Is there something I can do to help?
No, don't mind us. Why don't you go on inside where it's warm?
Then when I walked off, they stayed there for about 45 minutes, and then they left. Later, I found out this lady was dating this rich farmer, and he had gave her a horse and a diamond ring. When they broke up, he wanted his stuff back. And all of a sudden, he's missing. She had hired my daddy to kill her rich ex-boyfriend. My daddy buried him in a shallow grave right behind my house. I never dreamed my daddy was doing any of this. Never. Kim Gellican was a little 13-year-old girl that, this is very difficult to talk about her, I guess. You know, I'm sorry about all of them, but she was a very special one, very special. My daddy brought her down to the house and said that her mom had died and she didn't have nowhere to stay. And he asked me, could she stay with me for the summer? And I really liked the little girl. She kept saying, please let me stay, please let me stay. And I couldn't say no. Kim always called me grandmama. She lived with me for the whole summer. She was like a daughter to me.
Okay. All done and pretty as a picture.
But one day, I started washing dishes, and Kim said, well, Grandma, I'm going next door to get me something to eat. My mother-in-law lived right there across the yard, so she walked out the door.
Are you coming too?
I'll be over in a few minutes.
Don't take too long.
About 15 minutes, walked over to my mother-in-law's and I said, where's Kim?
Have you seen Kim?
What do you mean?
Well, she said she was coming over here for dinner.
She said, Kim's not here. I said, What you mean Ken's not here? She left the house about 15 minutes ago.
I haven't seen her all day, Shirley.
I was freaking out. I was scared. I was nervous.
Well, you gotta find her.
It was like she just walked out my front door and just vanished into thin air. And so that's when I called my daddy. I said, Daddy, have you seen Kim?
Daddy, I need your help.
He said, I have not seen Kim. I said, Kim wouldn't leave without, telling me, Daddy. I mean, that's one thing I know.
Okay, well, I'll come right over. We'll look for her.
Daddy, we don't have time for that. We gotta call the police.
I said, well, Daddy, I need to call the cops. He said, no. He said, let me see if I can find her first. Don't call the cops. He was very firm. Don't you call them cops. And that kind of raised some suspicious because, I figured he would say, yeah, go ahead and call the cops. We got to find this girl.
I'll be there as soon as I can. Just promise me you won't call anyone.
Okay, but please hurry.
I kept thinking to myself, this is not right. I had to do something. I did call the cops. I reported Kim missing. This was the first moment that I ever went against what my dad said, but I just felt like this was so important, this child missing. And, they kept searching for her, but we couldn't find her. Later on, I found out Kim was buried in a shallow grave right on the other side of my house. My heart's breaking because I was so close to her. She was like part of my family. She was my daughter. A couple of days later, we were all in the backyard, stacking our wood for the winter, and we heard a bunch of car doors slam. As I turned the corner, my yard was full of law enforcement. I mean, they were everywhere.
What's going on over here?
They said, we have a warrant here to search the house for Donald Pee Wee Gaskins. He said, have you seen your daddy? And I said, no, sir, I've not seen my daddy.
I don't understand. Why would you need to search the property?
They said that they suspected him in some murder cases. My heart dropped to my foot. Little things that I did not pay any attention to, it started adding up. The blood on his hand, the people disappearing. It was an awful feeling.
I'm going to need to ask you a few questions.
Sir.
They went into Daddy's trailer and they found a pair of brown and white shoes. I remember hearing one of the officers say, these are one of the boys' shoes. Law enforcement asked me, do you know where your dad is right now? And I said, no, sir. They said, if your daddy comes back, he said, you're to call the Williamsburg Sheriff's Department immediately.
Yes, sir.
My daddy was up in the top of the tree during the whole time they were searching everything, watching them. And after all of them left, he came down. And he said, they're just trying to frame me. He said, don't believe what they're saying.
Shirley, I didn't do nothing wrong.
Well, then why are the police out there?
And he said, I don't want to get into it with you right now. I just got to go. I won't see you for a long, long time. And he left.
I don't have time to talk about it, but just tell the kids I love them.
I knew my daddy was running away. I knew he was trying to escape. It is so hard to know that my daddy murdered all these people. It was November the 20th. I'll never forget that day. It was a couple of weeks after he left my house that night, the last time I seen him.
Good evening, ma'am.
And there was two officers standing at the door.
Your father has been apprehended and taken into custody?
And the officers had told me that they had unearthed some bodies.
He's already shown us where he's buried the bodies.
I was done. I couldn't think straight. I was crying. I was beginning to realize that this was for real. I remember just starting to cry. It was the hardest thing in my life, I think, to really, accept the fact that my daddy was killing these people. That is Walter Neely. After Kim disappeared, they brought Neely in for questioning because they knew that Walter Neely and Daddy was very good friends. He got scared and he just confessed that him and Dad had killed Dennis Bellamy. They arrested my daddy trying to flee out of Sumter in a taxi cab. That's my daddy right there. He's pointing to a graveside, and this is where they're digging it up. My daddy had his own private graveyard down in a little town called Prospect, South Carolina. I didn't see my daddy again until his trial. This picture is where they were taking my daddy into the courthouse to be tried. They found my daddy guilty, and he was sentenced to death. I just started crying. And I couldn't stop crying. My daddy told me that there were a lot more, but nobody would never find them. He said he would go to his grave. He would never tell anybody where the rest of them was. The only one that he ever told me that he was really sorry about was my cousin Janice Faye. But that was the only one that he ever had any regrets about. I feel so ashamed that my daddy did this. I just wish I could change some of this. But I can't. The last day that I got to see Daddy on death row, I told him I loved him very much and I would always love him. And he said, "How can you forgive me?" I said, "Daddy," I said, "I forgive you for everything you've done." I said, "You're my daddy and you are so special to me. I'll always, always love you. Nothing's gonna change that." And then he said, "I love you with all my heart." And that's the last words my daddy ever said to me. Every time I tried to talk about it, I would, break down. But I went to a therapist, and once I got it all talked out, I finally started to heal. What helped me more than anything else through all this here, I went into foster care. I started taking care of other kids. I feel like that, if I can just shed a little bit of love and a little bit back into the world that he took out, maybe things won't be so bad. I know that he was an evil person. I mean, anybody that can do what he did was evil. But you can't just turn love off and on like a spigot. You love somebody, you love them. And nothing will ever change there. I do love my daddy, and I'll love him for the rest of my life.
Nothing special that morning. It was a good day. It was a beautiful day. And my wife called me. I hear desperation in her voice. Our son's on TV.
Welcome back, everyone. 11:11 right now, as we are on top of some breaking news out of Seattle right now that we want to bring to you. This is just coming in, and details are pretty scarce.
Your gut drops out when you hear something like that on the phone. As soon as you see his picture, it falls out again.
To the left of your screen is the description of the suspect that we've had since about 11:30 this morning.
It was just pure panic. How do I deal with this? He was drawn to darkness. It was that moment before the storm. You know how the air feels before a storm. Take 12, 15 years of that moment of a storm building up slowly. The pressure changes, the light changes, the electricity changes. But we didn't know what was coming down the road. I miss him. I miss going camping with him. I'd rather have bad days with him than no days at all. He may be a murderer, but he's my son. That's the guy I miss. You could pass this to 100 people, including myself, and say, nothing wrong here, no signals here. There's not a clue here that anything is going bad. I just remembered that story today, something that Ian had written in school, and it was a little assignment in class, what do you want to be when you grow up? Ian simply started out, I want to be a hero. He wasn't specific about being a policeman, a fireman, or a soldier. He wanted to be a hero. He wanted to contribute to the world for the good of it and be recognized in that role. There was an event. He was just a few years old. We were living downtown in Santa Barbara, and one day, he wasn't there with us.
You see it out here?
No.
I can't find him anywhere.
It's okay. We'll find him.
We spent frantic moments.
I'm going to look around the neighborhood, okay?
Have you seen him walking outside, walking along the tracks, going up to the street to see if he'd wandered towards town, if anybody saw him up by the stops? He wasn't showing up any place, and we were getting frantic. Just a bazillion things that could have happened, and you're trying not to think about them.
You haven't found him?
No. Let's call the police, all right?
And all of a sudden...
Dad! Ian!
It's all resolved. People picked him up and brought him home.
Where was he?
I found him wandering down by the waterfront. The waterfront?
He's taken a walk on the beach, and he's not in tears. He has not been in tears this whole experience. There is no, I'm lost. There's no, I want my mom. He's not laying down blubbering about, where am I or anything. A lot of kids would have felt lost, scared. None of that happened. None of that happened with him. It was just an experience to him. When I looked back, that was a strange response for a young child to have in that situation. But we didn't see anything wrong with it. We saw a bold, adventuresome child. Camping was always a big thing. I've liked being outside. We did a lot of it.
We almost ready to set up this fire? Just a few more logs.
We're spending the summer in this tent out in the woods. And one morning, as we're all getting up, Ian makes an announcement.
We need to move our camp.
What?
Yeah, we need to pack up our stuff and find a new spot.
He expected everybody to follow through. He wasn't angry, he was stern, and there was no questioning. It was that sort of authoritative voice.
We don't need to move.
No, we're moving.
And it was like, what is going on? These are your marching orders. Don't ask why.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Now let's go.
We talked a little bit about it. Where do you want to go? He wanted to get out of this whole area that we were in. There were too many other people. But you sort of understood that there wasn't going to be any negotiation about it. We're leaving here. End of story.
We're not staying.
Okay, Ian. There's a spot I've always wanted to check out. Okay?
My way of handling it was, well, there's this other area we've never gone to. I would really like to camp there. I'm going to go drive there and see what it's like up there, see if I can find us a camping place. I could see it now as a paranoid thing, you know. Now that we look at it, we should have seen it. And that's something I have come to realize is a big thing. You could have seen it had you known what it meant, but you didn't know what it meant. You didn't know how to put it together. He came home this one day, and I had no idea what was wrong. He was having a hysterical breakdown, crying fit, slamming on the walls, banging around, just, out of control. It wasn't like rage, it was like despair.
Are you okay? No!
I asked him about it. He was not listening. He was completely in the throes of his emotions at that point. And I was afraid he was going to break his arms on the walls or on the windows or something like this. I physically stopped him by hugging him and holding on, grappling with him. And it went on, and 10 or 15 minutes into this event, I'm afraid to let him go. That he's going to hurt himself. Call the police. I was making sure I wasn't doing something rough to him. I was making sure that he was in a position where he could not hurt me.
Okay.
Things eventually slowed down. He ran out of energy. I ran out of energy. The police came. I was still on top of Ian. We were on the floor. He was calming down a little bit. The police saw that everything was okay. They did not need to take him in at that time.
Are you okay?
We're okay.
Son, look at me.
That was the first time he'd ever been this expressive, emotionally expressive. And it was frightful. What caused this? We knew that school wasn't Ian's forte from the first grade. other kids trying to bully him. I thought something happened to him on the way home. I have a lot of regret about not pushing him for details about what had happened. I wish I had been more forceful myself about offering help. But when things happened, we didn't understand what was happening. We didn't know what pattern they were going to be a part of later. My interest in guns probably started when Ian was about 4 years old. I had the license to buy and sell at a wholesale level. It was a hobby. But eventually, as Ian was old enough to go to a range, I wanted him to understand them. He was interested in them already. He knew I had several. So he learned the rules. There are certain safety precautions.
Ian, look what I've got.
Military issue P226.
So we had a bonding not just around the guns, but the procedure and the social aspects. Guns were a simple thing that we both enjoyed. He started collecting. His interest was almost exclusively modern military weapons, small arms.
I got some ammo too, so we can try it out at the shooting range this afternoon.
That sounds great, Dad.
Kids get interested in a lot of things like baseball cards or model cars or, things that they can collect. He wasn't interested in cars that way. He wasn't interested in guitars or instruments that way. The only mechanical thing that he was interested in was guns. Take it apart, put it back together, explain how it worked and stuff like that. It's more than fair to say that he had an arsenal in his bedroom. But I didn't see anything wrong with having that many guns. I never saw it as picking it up as something to kill people with or to harm people with or go off to war with. We didn't have issues. It was a very positive, enjoyable activity. Ian wanted to go into the Army. I guess he wanted to be a hero. We didn't talk a lot about it, but I talked with his mom.
Mom, this is what I always wanted.
Are you sure? You're still in school.
Yeah, but I'll learn more there than I ever would at school.
He was too young to join without our consent, so we signed up as farms. Our son Ian is our permission to join the Army if he can pass the test.
Time to be a man. Take responsibility for yourself and those around you.
Really?
I knew that there would be difficulties adjusting himself to Army life, but I thought that was a good experience for him. It goes back to the idea of this school paper that he wrote, I want to be a hero when I grow up. And we liked that, his mother and I. That was our son's task. Ian's task was to be a hero against the dark forces in the world.
Thank you.
I was very hopeful, that this would work for him. And they were happy to have this healthy, intelligent kid come into their Army.
Hello?
I'm so sorry, Dad.
It was late in the afternoon when Ian gave me a phone call from where he was in the Army in New York. He was sobbing. He was choking up with sobbing. Dad, I didn't mean to.
I don't know why I did it.
That's the first time I saw a face that had darkness in it. The eyes are down. Didn't register as that at the time. did not register. People don't understand. We did not understand what the signs were and what kind of darkness could be involved in it. Dark things to come. They're still in training, but it's not basic. These are the guys that have to bond as a unit when they go out and deploy. And he gives me a call, and he is distraught over an incident that had happened.
Hello? I'm sorry, Dad. He's in the hospital and it's all my fault.
Ian had been at a party late at night. They were getting a little bit rambunctious. Someone there put a knife to his throat.
I don't know how it happened. He took a knife out and I just hit and hit.
And he's coherent, but he's choking and crying. You could hear it. Didn't mean to do it. I don't know what he was thinking. He put a knife to my throat. He's in the hospital. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I did that.
I didn't need to. I just reacted. I was trying to defend myself, but I went too far.
Never ask him what exactly he did. He probably put a couple blows to that man's body. But his response was definitely a violent response. He was sorry afterward. I'm sorry I responded that way. I didn't want to hurt him.
I don't know why I did it. You just calm down and we'll get through this, okay? Okay.
I was glad that he had understood that it was not proper. But I'm concerned over not having enough control. You see something he doesn't like, he reacts. Lack of control. It was events like that, I think, that showed the Army they wanted him out. No charges out of it. But it wasn't that long after that he was discharged from the Army. Ian was not living with us on a permanent basis. He was living with other people. His friends would talk. He had been out all night. Somebody say, I think I've seen your son walking around at the night. He was walking the streets. He wore a military-issue dark green military trench coat. I don't know what went through his mind when he made these walks at night. He was so distant. Ian's lifestyle was to visit us and go back to his life. I tried to talk to him just to start a conversation, break the ice. No ice breaking here.
Ian? Where have you been? It's late. I don't need you checking in on me like this. What?
Didn't want to talk. Had made the announcement we weren't supposed to talk to his friends.
And don't talk about me to anyone. It's none of your business.
He told all of them not to talk to us. It was pretty much stay out of my life. Because he knew that if we talked to people, we'd get clues to something wrong. He wanted his separation. Ian would disappear without a trace. Turn around and he is gone. Well, I gotta go now, or later. No explanation where he's going, how long he's gonna be gone, when he's coming back, if he plans on coming back, or I'll just see you when I see you.
Have you called?
Called who?
Ian.
So there was a couple years there I wasn't seeing Ian very often at all.
Are you gonna just let our son disappear?
He's an adult. I reach out to him all the time. He never calls back.
I figured that he would talk to his mother because he was more likely to talk with her. She was the nurturing parent when I was off working. She was the person that he confided with to the degree he did confide. But when your child has been gone for a long time, you think they're going to come back and tell you where they were. Ian wasn't that way.
Well, did you leave a message?
Of course I left a message. He just doesn't call back.
Ian. Honey.
He didn't want people putting an arm around him or getting really close. He didn't want that physical intimacy from his mother or myself. And that to me is the sign that I didn't understand. We didn't know there was a connected dot to be connected. We had no idea. Ian and Andrew were going to go up to Alaska. They're going to be, the new frontier guys. So they go up there to Alaska, and it's a couple months. We didn't hear anything from them until Andrew came back alone.
Andrew.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, how are you?
And he was kind of like, whew. Oh, okay. What happened? Why are you back alone?
Is Ian with you?
No.
It felt like he was back here after having a wild bronco ride. That's the vibes I got off of him. He had been someplace that wasn't what he signed up for.
Wait, what does that mean?
Dad, I'm tired. I don't want to do this right now. Just drop it.
To this day, Andrew doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to speak poorly about people. He wasn't going to say anything bad about his brother. At this point, I was playing Snoop, unpacking the gear left behind. What the hell sent Andrew back here with nothing to say about it? And I found this phone number. I called the woman up.
Hello?
Hi, hello, my name is Walt Stawicki.
I explained who I was, that these two young men were my children, and they had been up there, and her phone number was in their stuff. I was just wanted to know how she knew him from up there. And you could hear in her voice and the hesitation to respond.
I don't know anything about them. I don't think I can help you.
I just have one question, please.
She was afraid. She was freaked out. I know she's got kids. I can hear kids. He's not the kind of guy that's going to rape someone. He's certainly not going to molest a child. But I know something's happened. I know he's made her very uncomfortable.
Listen, I'm in the middle of something. I have to go.
Hello?
She didn't say, don't ever call this number again. But that's the message I got from her. A couple months later, Ian finally shows up down here.
Ian, I didn't realize you were home.
When I finally saw him, it was like, don't push. You're not going to get any answers. Don't push. He's not going to open up to you about anything that happened.
Ian.
What?
Never mind.
You know how the air feels before a storm? It was that moment before the storm. I woke up once and he was standing over me. This is not a good way to wake up. He had paranoid ideas about working with the government, being forced to work with the government. This computer incident happened.
Guys, check this out. I want to show you a project I've been working on. It's kind of interesting.
And it's loading a government page. The page has come on .gov.us.
Is this a government website? Stop.
He looks at that and all of a sudden, don't load that page.
Stop it! You can't go to that page! What? You gotta leave that page. Leave it!
Get it off. Close it out right now. The page that I pulled up was not a FBI page. It was not a Homeland Security page. Completely innocuous government page.
You don't want them to track you. They'll do it, too. Leave!
No, don't load that page. Stop that page. Back out of that page right now.
Don't get all your information.
By the time I'm aware of what he's trying to ask me to do, he's already pulled the computer wires out of the wall so that it's offline. So we're standing there, the computer's pulled out of the wall. Ian's talking about not only were we looking at their site, but they were looking at us.
They look at you, and then they've got all your information.
And here's Ian with the wire.
God.
No argument, explanation, just don't do government pages. Stay away from it.
If you look at them, then they look at you, and then they've got you.
That's paranoia. What went through my mind was, where did that come from, and what is this paranoia that's in him? What is driving this? That's just extreme. Extreme.
You don't go to those government pages, no matter what. Okay?
That was the most paranoid I'd seen him. But I don't think that we were afraid that anything violent was going to happen. We were afraid for him, not of him. This is 39 years old on a good day. This is the son who pulls computers out of the wall because the government may be looking on the other side to see what we're up to. This is the Ian that tells me, hush, hush, don't talk about the government on the street because they're listening. That's who this is. Believe it or not, that smile is the same face. What is inside of his head? What is going on? In 1999, the World Trade Organization was going to have a big round in Seattle, now known as the Battle of Seattle. And I went over to the Battle of Seattle, which was a big event. After that, I wake up one day. Ian is standing over me.
What are you doing going to those protests?
This is not a good way to wake up. He's not standing across the room. Ian is in my face. Ian told me I should not be around those people, thought they were un-American. It was a command. Just like at camp, we must move.
You're gonna stay away from those people. I'll do what I want.
I got mad. I'm not going to change what I'm doing just because you're uncomfortable. I don't know why you're uncomfortable. I don't know if it's the politics or if it's a paranoia of anti-government stuff. Get out of my face. Leave. I got up. I think he took that as a threat. Pretty quick, we're on the ground scuffling. And, some point in the middle of it, he just done and left. He quit fighting. He didn't say anything when he left. He got up off the floor. He left. I hadn't seen him for months before. I didn't see him for months after. I started looking into mental illness a little bit and looking up doctors for him eventually. He was just getting really sharp and really edgy with things. This was definitely an escalation from anything verbal. It's not going to end well. He was getting paranoid enough that he had to go out in the streets day or night, loaded with a gun. It's not a question of if, it's when. If you go out running around with ideas in your head that are paranoid and you're armed, something's going to happen by you or to you or both at the same time. I started asking people what to do. We've got a problem. I'm really worried. Do you know anything?
Hello?
I hear desperation in her voice. Our son's on TV. I think he just killed some people.
What?
Your gut drops out when you hear something like that on the phone. Well, that's not a mistake. Something has happened.
What are you reporting?
I'm at Roosevelt and 59th, the Cafe Racer. There's been a shooting. Somebody came in and shot a bunch of people. I'm hiding in the bathroom.
Hold on, sir. How many
We need help right away.
Okay, just a second. Did you see the person that did it?
No, I did not. I was in the back.
Okay.
They didn't get me.
You know, it was a good day. It was a beautiful day. Nothing special that morning. And I had my coffee and breakfast.
Anybody see the guy?
White man.
White guy. How old maybe?
40th.
40s. Anybody know where he went?
My wife called me. We were going to discuss, where we were at with him. We fought over that issue. We had had a separation. We'd had a divorce, a remarriage, and now a separation. But we both agree that things are getting serious and he needs some intercession in his life. We're ready to make a plan.
2, 3, 4, 5. We got one breathing right here. We got one back here.
I hear desperation in her voice. Our son's on TV. I think he just killed some people.
Welcome back, everyone. Joining us live now, you're looking at live airport pictures above his shooting scene just outside the University of Washington. But this is what we know so far. There was a shooting taking place at this cafe. It looks like that is the location of Cafe Racer.
Your gut drops out when you hear something like that on the phone, Your son doesn't accidentally get put on TV. As soon as you see his picture, it falls out again.
The suspect currently on the loose. Let's get you that most recent description.
I want to show you this surveillance image from the Cafe Racer in the University District. This clearly shows the man the police were looking for. Witnesses say that he gunned down 5 people inside that cafe.
It didn't take me a half a second. Yes, that's the end on the film. And yes, these people are dead. I heard it on the TV. They're dead at the scene.
4 of the people shot at Cafe Racer have been confirmed dead. A 5th person wounded by the shooter has been taken to the hospital in serious condition.
It was just pure panic. How do I deal with this? We did decide together that we should call the police and tell them that is our son. We will confirm that's our son's picture. There's no question in our minds. Ian had been 86 from the Cafe Racer sometime before. He had freaked people out, scared people, or said something, or acted in a way that they felt threatened or uncomfortable with him. We don't want you here. You're not welcome here. If you don't leave, we'll call the police. Where's our son? He's missing. We're wondering, like all of Seattle, where he is. In the meantime, the police get a report of a carjacking murder down near downtown.
911, what are you reporting? Man with gun assaulting woman on 8. Oh my God, he just shot her. Okay, oh my God,
okay.
he shot her.
Okay, are you at 1119 8th Avenue?
Yes. He's in the parking lot. He's stealing a Mercedes, a black Mercedes. He's getting in the car. He's just shot her.
We spent the day obsessively watching that TV. We didn't know how that day would end or if that would be the end of it. But those hours of waiting for what's next, the human body isn't built well for uncertainty. We're obsessively just, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
I think a lot of people sitting at home watching this on television in horror, presumably, are thinking that same thing. What the heck is going on in our city? And in just the last hour, the man who Seattle police believe killed 3 people and injured 2 more at Cafe Racer, then fatally shot a woman during a carjacking, shot and killed himself in West Seattle as officers moved in.
He was in intensive care at the hospital with the bullet in his head from 4 o'clock until 8 or 11 when they declared him dead. I declared him dead at 3 in the morning the next day. It's done, you know. The worrying is done. What a horrible way to feel relief. But you do in a way. You know, as horrible as it is, it's done. It's done. There's some kind of peace. There's no more anguish for him. It took a lot of people and created anguish for all of us now, but for him, it's release. He may be a murderer, but he's my son. I'd rather have bad days with him than no days at all. This is the suicide scene. These are the clothes he died in. The bloody shirts have been thrown away and turned to ashes. What I got back was that one boot. It's the last thing I have to connect to the reality of his life. He wore this boot. You know how you do with baby shoes in the old days? You bronze them. I don't want to bronze it, but this is... Yeah, I have some ashes. Those are the 2 things I have. This is outside the cafe. I went there, I can't remember if it was the day after or the 2 days. I read what was on the windows there. You know, the poems that people wrote. I cried to those poems. I went there about 3 times. I let people know who I was. That was my son Ian. Oh, was he one of the victims? No, he was the shooter. Nobody was mad at me. My wife, she backed away from me. She also, I think, blamed me. You're the one that introduced him to guns. You're the one that let this happen. I should have interceded and told him not to collect guns. We had had a separation, and we're still in that separation. Our son's dead. He's gone. End of story. He's gone. We don't get to fix his life. We don't get to put a plan together. We don't get a chance to help him or protect him. It's final. You know, there's nothing you can do except just live through it. How do you make sense of it? Where do you start? Looking back towards those periods where Ian was a child, Ian was a teenager, Ian was a young adult. Looking back at those, I realized that there was more that I could have done. I could have been there for him to resolve those things. By the time I saw these sorts of issues, we had progressed so far down to a certain kind of distance. I've got guilt right there. Remorse about that larger period of time when I could have been there more for him. The line that I heard from someone, and I've seen it elsewhere, and I repeat it to everybody who thinks that you get over it. You don't. You go through it. You get through it. It's never gone. You just handle it better and better and better, and it recedes, but it's never over. It's forever.